Today I'm joined by Karen Johnson, who is the fundraising boss lady of Carers First, a charity in the north of Lincolnshire. Karen, in February 2021, the Masonic Charitable Foundation granted you £55,000 and a few pence over 2 years for Carers First. Tell me what Carers First is and who it supports in Lincolnshire.
Thank you. First of all, I'd just like to very much thank the Masonic Charitable Foundation for their kind award. So Carers First, we're a registered charity that was set up in 1991. By carers for other carers, and we mean unpaid carers, so we're not talking about people who perhaps work in a residential home or a care home. We're talking about friends or family members who look after another person who wouldn't normally be able to manage without their support.
I read in the paper that these carers are the unsung heroes. Why is there a need to care for the carers?
Because if we don't look after the carers, then who looks after the cared for? So we really do need to get carers to actually prioritise themselves, to actually look at their own mental well-being, because if we don't look after them, then the health and well-being of the person that they care for can also suffer. And
is Carers First, is it a Lincolnshire charity or an East of England charity? Or
We're quite different in the fact that we operate over 7 different areas of the country. So we operate across all of Lincolnshire, for 3 London boroughs, I beg your pardon, Medway, Essex and Southend. So it's where we are actually commissioned to deliver unpaid carer services.
Now, looking at, I've done some research, and 14,500 of the carers registered with you are from Lincolnshire, and just under 1 in 10 carers feel more confident and informed in their caring role because of the support that your charity gave. And 91% feel more resilient, and 79% report an improvement in their lives. What has that money actually done to get that sort of response?
Well, the Masonic Charitable Foundation grant actually enabled us to employ a dedicated officer, and their role is to support male carers and former carers in East Lindsey only, aged over 50, and they provide positive social activities, initially to help overcome social isolation for the men, so that they can actually get out, give them a reason to be getting out, because when they perhaps have to stop working, or if the person that they look after becomes seriously ill, then their social circles, I suppose, diminish. So what we're trying to do is to actually give them an opportunity to get out, meet other people, a bit of peer support, but also gain one-to-one support.
How do you get your message out there? Because, one of your biggest challenges has got to be making people aware of what you do.
That's our biggest challenge, actually making anybody realise that they're a carer, because no one actually thinks or tags themselves to be a carer. They might just see themselves as a mother, father, daughter, brother, sister. So that is our biggest challenge. The only thing that we can really do is just keep kind of promoting Carers First and what unpaid carers do through all of our mediums, whether that be in print or digital, and spreading the word as well. So having opportunities like this to actually talk about unpaid carers and the responsibility that they do have can only help.
You say one-to-one activities and group activities. Could you expand a bit more on that? What does that look like?
All of the activities that we do put on are co-produced with our male carers. So everything that we organise has been designed by carers for carers. So they reflect trips to wherever the men really want to go. So they are very traditional male perhaps activities. So they've been to bomber command centres, they've been to Cadwell Park. We've had evenings with celebrity sports people. For example, Willie Thorne was one, I believe. They've also had online fantasy football quizzes, particularly during lockdown. That was very, very popular, and just normal general knowledge quizzes and bingos.
The sort of thing that blokes like to do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
No crochet or anything like that?
No. I mean, the key thing, though, I'd like to mention is the fact that the Masonic Charitable Foundation fund what we call our banter breakfasts. So every month we hold a banter breakfast in 6 or 7 different towns across East Lindsey, and these give the men an opportunity to come together for breakfast and to talk to each other, share their experiences, have a natter over the football or the rugby, but also because the member of staff that's funded by the Masonic Charitable Foundation is available and they're at the breakfast, they can gain that one-to-one support and perhaps just slip away while the men are having a cup of coffee to kind of just access that support that they might need at that particular moment in time. it's very, very informal environment. So the men feel very not they feel at ease, but under no pressure to talk to the worker if they don't want to. But then they've got the rest of the men to have a chat with. And we found that a lot of the male carers are actually forming friendships now and arranging to go off and have their own activities outside of ours.
Because if you're caring for your other half, you're going to be there almost 24/7, aren't you?
Yes, it's a very, very demanding role. So by giving them a break from these caring responsibilities, not only boosts their mental health, but gives them a reason to actually get out and reduce that isolation.
And again, I mean, I'm, touch wood, I've not been through this, but when you're actually sitting next to someone who's going through what you're going through, it must mean the world, because they can understand the trials and the tribulations, the frustrations.
We find that peer support is absolutely invaluable. And like you say, just being able to share experiences, share their stories, they perhaps don't actually realising it, but they're probably offering advice without really, like I say, without realising, sharing coping mechanisms, sort of, have you thought about this? Have you tried doing this? But I think just actually having somebody to listen is really, really invaluable. Someone who's not going to judge you in any way, shape or form. So yes, it's just a really valuable project.
So talk to me about how successful this has been and how you've affected those that you've supported.
So we have just been running the project now for about 14 months. So in the first 12 months, we actually supported over 200 male carers, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And that's, again, just in East Lindsey itself. So if I may, could I perhaps just give you a few direct quotes?
Please do.
From some of the carers. So I come along to see these chaps. We had a good breakfast and talk about sorts of things, put the world to right. Gives me a bit of a break from my wife at home. I look forward to it. It's on my calendar so I don't forget. C raves about it. He says it's the best thing. And finally, today reminded me I'm not alone.
These are powerful things.
Very, very powerful.
That we're not alone.
Yeah.
You must be very proud of what you and your team have been able to change the lives of hundreds of men. And that's only possible by the donation of the Masonic Charitable Fund
Absolutely.
Foundation.
And that's why we're very, very grateful for all of the help that you've actually provided.
Just before we end, what's the future for Lincolnshire Freemasons and Carers First?
We're very, very keen as a charity to develop and strengthen our support relationships. So we're keen to work together, continually working together with the local lodges. So we actually meet bi-monthly with Pete Tong and Simon Noden to actually look at opportunities perhaps around volunteering, to raise awareness of carers, and just to really promote the two charities and any opportunities that we have to work together in the future. Because I think working together in synergy and holistically, we can achieve much better outcomes for our male carers.
Thank you for your time today, Karen. You've been exceptional, and thank you on behalf of Lincolnshire Freemasonry and the Masonic Charitable Foundation for making all those donations. It's very easy to see your £20, £30 a month in the direct debits or the £10 in the envelopes go away, but when you actually see and hear the stories that Karen and her team are doing, it makes it all worthwhile. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much.